Hey, this is Brian, the main contributor to the Smart Connections Obsidian plugin, and I'm about to go through the different GitHub issues that I have been unable to respond to. It takes a lot of time to read through the issues and formulate a good response, so I'm hoping that by recording my process, you can see what I'm thinking as I'm coming up with the response, and hopefully that will provide you with more insights on what the future of smart connections look like, and also answer whatever questions it is that you had in the issue itself. Thanks for watching, and let's get started. Okay, issue number 121, feature request, improve the UI UX for the inclusion settings. So there should be an include option now, which would only include those files. Let's double check that. So in the Smart Connect settings, Smart Connections, man, I do not know what's going on with this screen. I wonder if that's going to come across in the video. It definitely seems the color's a little interesting. But let's see here. So, we have file exclusions. Okay, so I see. So this is going to be problematic. There's no inclusion setting. So let's go back to that. So I did add this feature, exclude all top level folders. That is going to be a temporary help. So let me screenshot that. That will get you started if you are trying to only include a few folders. So you can exclude all folders and then include the folders that you want. If you're okay with embedding all of the files, there's also in the new filter options in version 2.2, you have an include filter. So this will do essentially what the issue is asking for. However, all of the files will still be embedded. And this will only include certain files during the Smart View rendering process. So let's get back to that issue. Let's see, can we post that? Okay. We've got still need to setting. In the meantime, the above button will help exclude all folders so that you can remove the that you want to be included without adding all exclusions manually. Okay. Let's get that posted. Recorded response. Okay. Now let's move on to the next one. Failed embedding batches. Okay, so 429, that's always an issue with rate limits from OpenAI. Okay. I'm going to close this as the embedding process has been significantly updated since this issue was last active. Please create a new issue if you encounter new problems in the future. Okay, now let's go recorded response. And now we've got another one. This one should also be completed. So this is very old, the last response. Local model chat configuration now available since V2. I think V2.1 to be specific. So let's close this one out. GPT for all, most people are using Ollama and LM Studio. If GPT-4All isn't working with the available configuration, as I've mentioned for quite a few of the other issues, the way we would get that working is by creating an adapter. That adapter would be in the smart chat model project within JSBrains repository. And currently there's adapters for local models, custom APIs. There's adapter for Anthropic, Google, OpenAI, Cohere. So really it's like a lot of good examples are already there. You can see in case you were interested in contributing a GPT-4All adapter. Next, maybe remove the calculation of the matching degree for the front matter. So front matter, because front matter handling has been significant, well, I won't say significantly, it has been improved since this issue was last active. Let's, further improvements should be context of updating the smart chunks. So let me add JSBrains smart chunks module. The markdown adapter may be updated to improve the handling. Okay, so real quick, I already have plans for improving the front matter handling. Basically, what that looks like is currently front matter is handled as its own block, which is, it's better than when it was just only merged in with the content, but I still think there's some better ways, that it can be done. So for example, I think that there should be some configuration. I have this front matter property. So you say this front matter property, let's call it the title property or a description property. This is an important property. So you would specify, you would say, treat this front matter property with priority. And then what that would look like is maybe, including the property as part of the breadcrumbs in the parsed blocks or chunks. Depending on the format of the front matter, it might be better to list that content as a suffix rather than a prefix. So if there's maybe that would probably be best as a suffix. And I think through some configurations, it would make sense to specify these pieces of front matter. And then, similarly, ignore front matter properties. I think that should also be a configuration. But that starts with updating the smart chunks markdown adapter. Okay. Onward. Prevent exceeding max tokens, issue number 126. Okay, so calculating the tokens, you would think that it wouldn't be something that causes challenges, but the requirement for including a library, handles multiple token types, we're talking tens of megabytes added to the 3 megabyte smart connections file, which not a huge limiting factor, but this is one of those things that there has to be a better way. I've tried some different ways. I think this is mostly handled at this point because I think tokens are calculated and used at by the embeddings, and the smart chat model should automatically drop off prior context if it becomes too long, but I can't say that for certain. So I'm not going to close this right away. One of the tricky parts is like different languages, like the same amount of characters can be like a vastly different number of tokens, with like I think English being the smallest amount of tokens, so like adapting for other language becomes a bit of an issue. There's some things I tried, like if there's an error, like sometimes depending on the platform, the error would include the amount of tokens that was requested, and then you can like kind of deduce how much context needs to be dropped in order to get back within the limit. I'd say overall this isn't like super high priority because the available models are continuing to be able to accept larger and larger amounts of context in the input. So I really haven't heard from too many people that this was an issue lately. So I'm going to say, I'm going to close this out because there's probably others similar to this that might be more recent than over a year ago. So closing this for now, but please reopen if it is still an issue. Okay, so I think that should do it for this video. Okay, on to the next one.